Rebecca, what I'm going to show you here is interval notation. If you have a line like this, and let's say you have 1 here and 2 and 3, we call this the X number line. You know, this is the X number line. Then the vertical one is called the Y number line. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all the numbers between 1 and 3, all of them. There's an infinite number. And the way you indicate that on a graph is like that. Now I'm not including 1 and I'm not including 3. And we'd write this as an inequality like this. All x is less than 3, greater than 1. Okay? That's all x is, but we don't include 1 and we don't include 3. And again, there's an infinite number of values here. That's called a continuous domain, really. That's what that is, a domain on this x-axis of continuous. And they write it in interval notation like this. 1, 3. And this is not to be confused with an ordered pair that you plot. And the way you know the difference is context. If you're talking about an interval, then you see this, that's what it is. But if you're talking about plotting a point, then it's completely different. Now I can change this very easy. I can color this one in. Now all of a sudden I've got all x's between 1 and 3, but we include 3, and we don't include 1, according to this graph. And in order to include 3, you have to do this. Okay? If I wanted to include 1, I'd go like this, and now we'd include 1. All x is greater than or equal to 1 and less than or equal to 3, and I have to change this to a square bracket. My eraser's right here. Okay, now there's other kinds of intervals. There's ones that look like this. And we start out at 2 here, and we want all numbers that are less than 2. And the way we indicate that is we kind of draw darken like, you darken it like this. All right. And then you do a big arrow like that. And that means all numbers, that means -1 million, -10, all numbers, 0 is one of them, anything that goes, and it goes on to infinity. And we do that like this. We put negative infinity. There's no such number. It just says go out as far as you like and you can use the numbers. All the way to 2, but not including 2. Now I can include, and of course the way we do that, that's interval notation, or x less than 2. That's how we write it in inequality notation. That's all x's on this x-axis that are less than 2. You write it like this, and this is the notation, interval notation, and this is what the graph looks like. So I'll color it in this arrow here to make it big. Okay? But I could include 2. I could just go like that, and now I'd include 2, and I change this to square. You never include infinity because it's not a real number. It just says go from 2 as far out as you want. All those are in the domain, or those are the numbers we're talking about, okay? And that's how you do the interval notation. And you can run it the other way, too. I mean, there's all kinds of ways to do it, right? And that's essentially it. You should know all 3 of these notations.